Hey guys, how's it going? So this is a video, Brand Flakes Productions, by the way, side note. But this is how to install front pads, rotors, and brake calipers on a 9th gen Civic Si. It's the same, pretty much the same for the base model Civics as well. So this just includes 2012 to 2013, or sorry, 2012 to 2015 for this vehicle. So first things first, you're going to want to remove the 2 bolts that are on the back here. So there's one here, and there's also one down right here, and then you'll pull this top portion off. So you'll just grab the top portion, and it's good to have a hanger as well, just a caliper hanger. Slide it off like this, and then you can just attach this hook here, and I always hook it to the coil spring. And then you'll pull these springs off. These are just the springs that push the pads outwards. You can do this with basic tools as well. So anyways, it's a 217s on the back of the bracket. So now this is off. That's the caliper bracket. So now we're gonna take the rotor off. I'm just gonna use a number 3 Phillips and press very firmly against. This one actually looks to be loose. So you'll take these 2 Phillips screws out, and you can take the rotor off just by pulling it. Sometimes you might need to hit it with a hammer though. Now you'll get your new rotor. Grab the 2 17s, 17mm bolts that you had earlier. You also lubricate the guide pins if needed. By just pulling these out. You can lubricate those with brake parts lubricant. And then you just place this in the back and bolt it up. The brake hardware, which is very important. Then you'll just pop the pads in. Alright, so now you grab your new brake caliper assembly, or your old one if you're reusing, and place it over the top. Push these guide pins inwards and rotate them so that the cutouts in them line up properly. And grab your bolts and get these in the back. And if you are replacing the caliper, it is much easier to remove this 12mm that is holding the brake line on, so that you can move the brake line more freely. And take the plug out of the back of the new caliper and have a catch pan underneath. Because it will be leaking a lot of fluid. And then use a wrench, or in my case I'm using impact, to remove the banjo bolt that is in the old caliper assembly. Also make sure you have new crush washers for the banjo bolt. Remove the old caliper assembly. And now we're going to remove this banjo bolt. Put the new crush washers on it, one on one side, then pass it through the brake line fitting, and then the other washer on the opposite side. So next up, we're going to remove the rubber cap on the bleeder screw. Then make sure you top off and make sure your brake fluid is full. And you're just going to open that, and if you have time, you can let it sit and drip for 10-20 minutes, but make sure you're monitoring it. And that will gravity bleed and allow gravity to pull the fluid through this line and out the bleeder. Unless you have a friend. If you have a friend, then you can have them get in the vehicle Make sure you tighten this back down. Have them pump the brakes a couple times to depress the piston, but you'll have them press the pedal while this is tight, and then you'll open it once they've depressed it and they're holding their foot on the floor. And once they're holding, you open the bleeder and that'll spray out air and brake fluid. Then you tighten it, you have them pump the pedal 1 to 2 times again. And then you have them hold it, you open it again, and it'll shoot out air and brake fluid. And you keep repeating the process until you do not see any more air. And then once they start it, they can see if it feels all right. You can hop in and try it, and then test drive the vehicle, see if it's good. And then after that, you're done. If you still have a squishy pedal, then you go back and have your friend press the pedal again and bleed the air out in steps. But aside from that, that's all. Thank you for watching Brand Flakes Productions. Peace.